thing I've realized is, everyone has a different kind of mouth. And
what's that scene from Finding Nemo where he's like, "Oh, the human mouth is a disgusting place. It's fucking horrible." So I can't imagine what that's like. But
yeah, anyway, it is a lot different than I thought. I was like, but
you almost wonder if they're dirtier than a person's asshole.
Probably.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, well, so we're rolling. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Hella Dank podcast.
Glad to be here.
Maddie's co-host, myself, Jack Sattler, and our guest, Kincade Begley. He's the man, good friend of mine. How's it going, dude?
It's been pretty good.
Doing
just been on a work grind mostly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we never see you because you work so much.
Yeah, I don't even work full time most of the time because there's not enough work for me to do. And so...
Well, before we get into that, just because I don't know how to describe it, why don't you explain to people what it is you do and your title?
So I make fake teeth mostly out of zirconium or zirconia, which is technically a metal, but it's more of a powder when it comes in a brick form, and then you sinter it and it becomes more like a harder tooth material. And that's mainly what I do is single unit crowns, bridges, and the most I'd say difficult work that I would do would be full art dentures, which would be zirconia dentures, and those require a lot more.
Wait, sorry to interrupt you, but zirconia, when I hear that, I think of like Cuban zirconia diamonds. Like, that's not related anyway, right? Like,
it might be. Well, zirconium is an element on the periodic table.
Pull it up real quick. I might be maybe pronouncing or understanding.
It's on the. I don't know where it is on the table, but I know it's a metal technically.
Yeah,
and it's mined out of the ground just like anything else. And
really, so they're not using like an amalgam, like maybe not amalgam, but like that's like the base of the denture is okay. It's like
so they're implants.
Well, those would be not most of the time. Most of the time, they will grind down if you have a cavity or part of your tooth missing or whatever.
Like a crown?
Yeah, they'll grind it down to a margin and just like basically a nub of that crown. And then you design a whole new tooth that will go over that, and it glues onto your old tooth.
So you design and manufacture that?
Yeah. So at most dental offices now, they're using intraoral scanners, which are like LiDAR scanners, basically.
Is it like measuring the topography of your gum line and shit, like the shape of it, rather?
Yeah. It's like a 3D scan of what you do, like with LiDAR or car or anything.
Okay.
But it's in your mouth, and it shoots lasers right at a lot of lasers, a lot of light at a very specific point, multiple times per second, millions of times per second, or whatever it is.
So that's not an X-ray. It's a totally different
It's
form.
different from an X-ray, yeah. An X-ray is CBT or CBCT, and that's when they shoot through, and you could see the bone and the decay and all that kind of
And so when you collect that information on the patient's mouth, that's plugged into like a 3D rendering program that is like like a computer-aided design program, like where you get the contours and the correct shape of the denture.
Yeah. So
okay,
what she's got pulled up, that's what you'll see mostly is...
Can you imagine walking anywhere and like flashing your smile, just nubs?
No, they don't keep the nubs on, so they do a temporary,
Jesus.
And this is nothing that I do, so this is all dental office work. Is they'll grind it down, they'll put a temporary on there, which is basically just like a filling of a tooth, and it kind of resembles the shape of a tooth, but it's not permanent. It's not made to last months and months or years, and they'll just wear that for our lab specifically is 2 weeks, And so I'll have most crowns done or most cases done within a 2-week period.
Wow.
And then, they'll take off the temporary.
Does it really take that long, like the full amount of time do you do like a single tooth most of the time, or do you do like a bridge?
I'd say single teeth are the most common, but then bridges and the least common are probably, like, as I said, the most difficult would be the full arches of the zirconia. But
what is a full arch?
So
like the full
instead
bottom...
of just doing like regular crowns with a crown on top of a cap like that, it would be a implant, like you were saying earlier. It would be the implant crown, and they take out the whole tooth if it's rotted down to the root, right on the nerve of your tooth. I forgot the name. There's a lot of very specific dental names that I should remember.
How about this? What was your I know you're deep at this point, but what was your previous? How did you get in? Like, what was your previous qualifications? Like, did you go to school for this, or like, how did this come? Because it sounds like a very complicated job. Something with precise skills. So, how did you get into this? Where did you begin?
Yeah, I was working at a different dental lab, which is the biggest one in Oregon, and that's O'Brien Dental Lab here in Corvallis. And I worked there for 3 weeks right before COVID hit, and then they fired me because I was a brand new person, and they closed down all the dental offices and all the labs because there's no work anymore. And they did tell me I could come back, but by that time I ended up having to move away.
And so did you start as like where you were apprenticing for
I got hired as a computer guy, so I didn't even do any lab work. I just put in the cases from the dentist. So a dentist would send us a case, and I would just fill out that stuff and print the work ticket that needed to be done for that case. Okay. And that's all I did. And I did the digital side, which is dentistry just made a huge shift from like manual to digital recently in the past 10 years. And so I was on the forefront of that. Mm-hmm. And then when I got hired at 360 Dental, which is where I'm at now.
That's out of Eugene, right?
Yeah, that's out of Eugene. And there's 3 of us that got hired at the same time. And our goal was just to do, we didn't have the scanner at that time. So we had to do manual impressions, which the old way of making a bunch of these cases, instead of scanning the patient's mouth and then just making it something like that, we would use a mold, and we would mold the person's
like they would
mouth.
Bite down in like a piece of like clay, type.
It's called an impression. Yep, they would bite down.
Making like a negative mold. Yeah.
They'd bite down on it, and then I would pour it up with this. It's called I just call it stone, and it's basically like a soft stone material that you mix with water. And you fill in all the areas of that negative impression, and then once it dries and hardens, you pull it out of the mold, and then you got their exact mold of their mouth.
So for now, like nowadays, you're talking about it's zirconia metal. What's the process in making that? Like, are you that far where it's like, besides designing it, are you physically making these things, and what is the process to making it, if you are?
Yeah. So they'll get the scan, and then I design the crown on this CAD program, like you were saying earlier. It's called ExoCAD, actually.
Okay.
And
that's like a 3D modeling program.
Yeah. It's basically like, there's a bunch of different things you can do on the program, like dentures, single teeth, crowns, transfer copings, implant crowns, all sorts of stuff. Anything that like the normal person would probably need for their mouth is they have on this program. And I designed the crown in the program, which, it really depends on the case. Like, some crowns will take me 20 minutes to design. Some crowns will take me a couple hours to design.
And what dictates that? Just the complexity of
So one thing I've realized is, everyone has a different kind of mouth. And what's
that scene from Finding Nemo where he's like, oh, the human mouth is a disgusting place. It's fucking horrible. So I can't imagine what that's like, but
anyway, it is a lot different than I thought. I was like, but
you almost wonder if they're dirtier than a person's asshole.
Probably. Yeah. No. But yeah, once I'm done designing the crown, then instead of the old, again, everything has just switched to this new version, which is what I've basically tried to build on and get good at, is all digital. Instead of buying a prefab, like people used to buy pre-made crowns, basically like fake crowns, and they would just make their tooth based off of that and fit it onto their mold. But now, as I said with the zirconia, we have this 5-axis milling machine.
No shit.
It's called a Roland DWX 52D.
Why don't you look that up really quick, man? Let's see what that looks like.
It's basically like you've seen those Tormach machines before.
Yes.
It's something like that, except it has a disc in it instead of like a big metal block or whatever.
Is it like just a controlled grinder kind of, or like a
yeah?
almost?
So she'll pull it up here and roll end.
Yeah. So, but it's like
like A and D.
Yeah. And
O
then
R
52D.
R-O.
Yeah. ROLLAND. DWX 52D.
And so that's just like a very detailed. It's a CNC machine almost.
Yeah. They're all CNC machines. So there's a program that I put it into, which is called. It's all technically.
Okay.
That's our machine that we use for all of our crowns and all of our zirconia.
So it looks like a stove almost
Holy
with
shit.
a door. It's $26,000.
They're pricey.
Is there more pictures we can look at, like the inside or like the tool bits or anything?
I got a bunch of pictures on my phone and stuff.
Just go up to images at the top.
Yeah, your mouse is all fucked up.
Oh, that mouse is here. Take this one. This one's better.
There aren't any images. Oh.
Let me go back to the product.
I've never seen Google say that before, that there's no images of this. That's wild.
I was like, so this machine.
Hey there, you want to buy a $30,000 machine? No.
Yeah.
Okay. This looks like a very high-end piece of equipment.
Yeah. So it's definitely one of the best machines you can buy for zirconia milling because it's 5-axis and because it's very quiet.
Here, and just look up zirconia.
Does it
metal.
mill it out of like something like this?
Yeah. So those are the discs.
So
I'll buy those. I buy those discs from the company, and I can usually get, as they're doing, like 20 crowns out of one disc, and I buy pre-shaded discs as well, so I don't have to worry about what color it has to be.
Oh no!
They will tell me what color matches close enough in the patient's mouth, and then I'll just mill it out of that color.
So what we're describing here is it looks like it's like about the size of a hockey puck that goes into this insert of this milling machine that then carves the shape that he's describing out of this hockey puck. And it looks like they're getting a couple dozen teeth out of a single puck. That's pretty impressive. That's cool.
Yeah, and zirconia is one of the strongest materials. Different strengths depending on what puck you get, which one thing I've realized is not every zirconia puck is made the same.
Is it zirconium or zirconia?
Zirconium is the actual...
A ceramic material,
metal.
specifically zirconium dioxide. It's known for its strength, durability, and biocompatibility, making it a popular choice for various applications, including dental restorations and gemstones. Zirconia can also be used in industrial settings for applications like cutting tools and heating elements.
It's very...
Okay.
Yeah, it's
so
very
it's like a
heat resistant.
badass ceramic.
Yeah.
Okay. No shit. So so I remember you described it like a 3D printer, but it's more like you're just...
So, yeah, those scans that we take of people's mouths, the models that they'll scan in is I'll create a 3D model of that in the Exocad software, and then I'll take that 3D model of their mouth and I'll just print it out. We have a Formlabs printer, a 3B printer, and we have a Envision 1 3D printer, which for a while we were 3D printing dentures, like actual just push in and pull out dentures.
Out of what? Like, what was the material
it was that? Like, so the whole reason we got into it because we found this new material called Flexera, and it claimed to have like a tensile, not a tensile strength,
flexibility.
Yeah, like
tensile.
It's called megapastels or whatever it's called, and it's basically how much how much, I guess it is tensile, how much you can bend it before it snaps, or how much you can bend it, and it was claiming to be like the strongest material out there. So
who's doing that to their dentures though? Like,
I mean, we were just happy because we're like, oh, this might be the first 3D printed material that is strong enough to hold up dentures for a longer period of time besides, because most 3D dentures before that would break within the first year or 2 years of use, which a good pair of dentures should last at least 5 years on the minimum.
No shit. Like, I guess you never think about it, but like the human mouth kind of goes through a lot. Like, if you really think about it, like, you know, I remember like when I was a kid, you know, I was like losing my teeth, like, you know, as when you get older, like you lose like your baby teeth. What the fuck was that noise? Did you hear that? It sounded like
I looked at Cade like, are you breathing okay?
It sounded like something, I don't know. It was fucking
Did you hear that too? Dude, that was weird.
That was so bizarre. All right, but okay, so I remember when you're losing your baby teeth, your bigger teeth are growing in, you know, your teeth just fall out when you're like fucking 8 or 9 or whatever the fuck when you're a kid. I remember, do you know that candy called Bit of Honey? It's like that honey candy that's like caramel, but it's fucking like, I remember, okay, so it's like a hard caramel candy, and I bit into it. I was like one of my teeth got loose, and I put this thing out and I bit it, and when I pulled it out, it ripped my tooth out with it.
Ew, Jack.
It was gnarly, bro. But
what was it, a bit of honey?
Yeah, a bit of honey.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a bit of honey. And it fucking pulled my tooth out, and it was just like, you know, obviously I had a tooth growing behind it, but it's just, fuck. I lost my train of thought. why that was relevant.
About your teeth regrowing, baby teeth, something like that?
God damn it. No, I lost it. I lost it. But
what are you looking at here?
What is this?
Oh, you're looking at their
is
office
this the
space.
lab?
Yeah, their office space. I mean, I got to say, so Roland has a few other machines. So our machine, unfortunately, is a manual machine. So I have to take each disc out and put a new disc in if I want to change shades or whatever, or change like size of disc. There are some machines out there that will do that for you. So they have a robotic arm in them, and it will pull out the disc for you once it's done milling, put in a new disc, and then start a new milling cycle. So you could set up like a cycle of like 10 different milling things. Oh, you can have like
a schedule for it.
Yeah,
kind of.
And so like really high volume labs will have their machines just running 24/7 because, I mean, that's what they set them to.
So is this like, this is not something that insurance covers, right? Like, is this totally a like something out of pocket? Like, do you know?
I mean, they like, put it on their taxes at the end of the year as a big purchase. So they get taxes back, a tax break on it.
You can do that?
Yeah, they claim it on your business. That's what they do.
No, I mean, like, as the patient. Like, okay, let's say I go in and I don't have, or let's say I do have dental insurance. Like, like
yeah.
if I want
your insurance covers all this.
It really does.
Yeah, it covers.
Because I know insurance,
it covers all the lab. The insurance isn't for lab. I charge the dental office money for the lab work, and the dental office charges the patient or the insurance.
Gotcha. Okay,
so the insurance goes through the office first, and then I charge the office a certain fee to do the work.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's always the same fee for 360 Dental where I work at. I mean,
yeah, I guess you guys are like kind of a third party in that instance, and it's because I know like dental work and insurance can get fucky. Where they're like, depends, is this necessary or is this cosmetic?
Well, like dental insurance, a lot of people don't realize with dental insurance is your dental insurance will say it covers 100%, but it covers 100% up to a certain amount. And a lot of people think it's 100% of anything. And so they'll come in there and get a bunch of dental work done. We'll charge their insurance, and then they still end up owing like $300 or $500. And they'll be so mad at us and being like, why didn't my insurance cover this? And they're like, oh, yeah, they covered 100% of a certain amount. And it's like, that's not our fault that you guys...
Isn't that fucked up, man? Like,
yeah, I mean, insurance is a big scam in the first place. So it's like, it shouldn't be that expensive.
Little funny, like, well, it's not really... So I had Oregon Health Plan before I got my latest job, and I wasn't making enough money, so I qualified for OHP. And so I got set up with this Advantage Dental here in Southtown. You know, I
know the guy who owns Advantage Dental. I've actually met him a few times.
Ghetto ass, fucking. But you know what? I gotta say that one. I can't remember his name, But I'm so happy I got, like, my wisdom teeth were causing bad problems for me. Like, my cheeks were swelling. It was fucking bad. And I went in there, and luckily it covered. I didn't pay a dime. Like,
at least with it's because you went to Advantage Dental.
Yeah,
they took OHP. Our office doesn't even take OHP.
But their thing was like, okay, you can come in, but you gotta wait 7 months from now. Like, legit. Like, I had to go in there, and they're like, yeah, okay. Does the November? It's like, let's say it's January. Does November 10th at 8 p.m. work or 8 a.m. work? It's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in November.
I show our secretary that all the time. I'll show her memes, and I'll show her a meme of, like, when your dental secretary asks you, "Are you available 4 months, 3 days, 5 hours, and 6 seconds from now?" And you're like, "What?"
It's fucking crazy, dude.
It's like, I don't know if I'm available then.
It's fucking wild.
Well, it's because the reason that they do that is because it's very, like, for cleanings and stuff especially, it's very on a tight schedule. So they want to get in as many teeth cleanings as they can in one day, and they do that as many times as they're open per week.
Yeah.
And so unless there's a cancellation or something like that, then you're not getting on for at least a couple months.
And it makes sense, like, if you're going to a place like Advantage Dental, which is like the ghetto dental, like, there's people going drive-bys there. It's horrible.
I can tell you exactly.
But, it makes sense. So, like, I know now that I know that going in, like, I stay ahead of the ball, but it's just like, anyway, I started making too much money. I lost that insurance. And so I had to start looking at separate, like, because I was looking at health insurance plan. Like, sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but I was looking at health insurance plans, and I realized it's like health insurance. They don't even fucking include dental unless you're paying like $1,000 a month. Like,
yeah, it's a scam.
But
it's because they don't consider it a necessary thing. It's more for looks. Is what they say.
Dental says cosmetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And it's like fucking. So I found out you can get just dental insurance, like, on its own with, like, hearing, which I do have hearing problems.
Delta does it.
What?
Good one. Took me a second.
Oh, this is the long pause.
What? But no, dude, it's just like, yeah. So I found out, like, dental insurance, like, for decent dental insurance, I found out it's like $65 a month. But it's just like, I'm always worried about shit like that. Like, specifically, I mean,
they'll cover 100% of a certain amount.
Yeah, they'll cover 100% of $200.
Which is why at the end of the year we're so busy at the end of the year, because everyone's trying to use their stupid insurance, and so we get way busier. And then people expect all their stuff to be done by the end of the year, and I'm like, I'm packed with I'm packed with work sometimes, and I'm like, it's just not gonna happen. I was like, I want to enjoy the end of the year.
No, for
usually
sure.
it's like it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, dude, it's a weird world, like, as far as, like, navigating, like, what insurance covers. That's how you get people like Luigi Mangialone, or that dude that killed this fucking United Healthcare.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know.
Good.
Yeah. I'm not saying I support it or I'm not supporting it. It's just like, it gets complicated and it fucks shit up, and so it's stuff like this where it's like, oh man, like, okay, I'll get like these implants or these dentures, and then you find out you gotta pay for it out of pocket.
There's
or something.
a lot.
I don't know. It's just like there's a lot of.
Do you not read your policies?
Doug, have you not seen how big those policy packets are?
They're gigantic. They'll give you like an overview that tells you.
All you really need,
you
just need to like how much you can put in, or like how much you can like charge or whatever, how much they can charge you.
Yeah.
And your
everything is on the paper.
Your monthly payment. That's all I really care.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, like everything.
That's the problem.
Like, well, you have to pay a monthly payment.
No. Yeah.
That's how insurance is.
But you gotta. That's the whole point. That's why they give you the information, and so you can choose an insurance that works for you. If you don't think that you're gonna need like a $100,000 surgery or whatever, then you probably won't get that insurance because it's probably more expensive because it covers so much more money.
They're all scams. I mean, I got more on implants and stuff.
Okay,
like another machine that I have it's one machine that only our lab, or like it's one thing we only do in Oregon. Like, we're one of the only labs that are able to do this.
What is this machine?
It's called the Zirconzon, and it's called the M4.
That sounds like
alien
language.
Type it in. Zirconzon M4. It's real cool. These machines are all. So when my boss first opened the lab,
it sounds like evil Lord Xenu from Scientology.
It's a
How do you spell
an
that?
Italian company. Zircon with a K. ZIRKONZAHN.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there it is.
German or
And then
something?
put the M4.
M.
Yeah.
Oh, so this.
So this is our like
So this
highest
is,
end
like-
machine here, and it's a
Just look up images.
Suck a cock.
No.
this is one of the first machines my boss bought, and we have a white version.
Oh, mute that.
Playing.
I'm trying.
Go ahead.
it's
Go
like-
ahead.
so-
Go ahead and full screen.
So yeah,
And then we'll,
basically it's an all-in-one kind of machine. It can do zirconia, it can do plastic, it can do metal, it
No
can do
shit.
like it does wet milling, which
And how big is it? It's like
it's probably like I would say size of this
like the
desk.
size of a cooler almost or something like that.
A bit bigger. It's like 800 pounds. It's
This is what an
very.
American-
I can barely move one side by myself, like barely. I don't even know how they got it in there.
So what's the difference between this machine and the other?
So the other machine is this is also 5-axis, like they're saying here, but this machine does instead of the plate moving, which is what the disc is doing, it's moving up and down like this and like this. This one only moves that on the z-axis
no
one way,
shit.
while the actual chuck, the actual spindle, moves diagonally both directions up to 45
So
degrees.
in what application are you using the M2D whatever, and then in what applications are you choosing to use this one?
So we have each machine is set up for a specific purpose, and we've changed them here and there. Like originally, this was our zirconia machine before we got the Roland, and as you see, you can put 4 pucks in at one time and mill 4 different things at once. The problem with these specific pucks is they're very proprietary and very expensive compared
Manny,
to
go ahead
just-
and pause this real quick. So what we're looking at, guys, for those of you that are just listening, this is like a cabinet type of machine where you load. So these pucks that we're talking about, they look like they're what, like 4 or 5 inches in diameter. You preload a series of them, and then this machine is like CNC milling machine with a selection of tools that it will go through and mill out certain sections out of these pucks. Is what it look? Is that right? I mean, that's what I'm.
Yeah. So you could put 4 different shades in there, and say you have an A2 shade for a crown, and then a D3 shade for another crown, and you want to mill them both. It'll take. It actually does. The burrs are a 2mm burr, and these are actually diamond coated burrs, so they have diamond dust on them, which makes them way stronger and last probably 5 times longer. Like one of these burrs will last me 5 months easily, and that's milling probably 20 crowns a week or something like that.
Wow.
So I know this is obvious, but just in case. So these shades you're talking about, obviously many different people have many different colors of teeth. That's what you're kind of referencing to.
Yeah.
Shades.
So
there's like a measured color spectrum for that. Like
there's a few. There's a few. So they have a 3D Master, Vita Classic, and it's basically like European kind of stuff and some out of states kind of stuff. And then they have this one called like LM or something like that, which is something I'd never really use. The main ones I like, probably what I use 99% of the time is Vita Classic because it's the easiest and it's American. It goes from A to D, and it goes A1 to A4, and then B1 to B4, C1 to C4, and
How
it gets
do
darker.
What is the process in measuring that? Like, I'm
So
sure it's
you
probably,
buy the pre-shaded kits that have all of the shades on them,
and you're just matching.
and
it.
yeah, they'll hold it up to the patient's mouth and see, oh yeah, this looks like the closest color to their natural teeth,
Damn.
and that's how we get the shade.
That's
mostly.
got to be humbling where you see it and it comes out brown as fuck. It's
Your
like,
teeth. I can tell you right now, your teeth are not made to be pearly white. They are made to be slightly yellow, which is fine, and they're not made to be super cleaned all the time because that will brush off all your plaque and all your
Yeah, well, let's talk
or
about
not
that
plaque,
a little
sorry.
bit. 'Cause,
Enamel.
Enamel, yes.
Yeah, because we were talking about this the other day, and it's like, obviously with the introduction of processed sugar and shit, that's kind of like really fucked with, as far as the health of people's teeth. But it's like, for thousands of years, at least for the most part that we understand, it's like people didn't brush in the way we do now. And so
No.
it's just like
I think it was mouthwash mostly, like some sort of like mouth fragrance that they'd put in their mouth
Vinegar.
and swish around. Yeah, probably
Yeah,
like
probably
vinegar,
vinegar.
baking soda,
Yeah.
basic stuff like that to clean their mouth.
Chew on sticks.
That actually,
Is that a
chewing.
thing?
Well,
I guess like dogs. Yeah, I guess.
well, if you imagine like chewing on thick shit, that's gonna brush and scrape anything away.
That makes sense, yeah.
To a degree. But yeah, it's like there's obviously like when I was younger, there was always like the thought like from the dentist where they brush your teeth twice a day, floss twice a day, blah blah blah, which is like good. There's nothing wrong about that, but it's like. The way I understand, at least for my teeth, what I found is like if I brush once a day, floss once a day, that is fine. That's
99% of it.
Like
And
I don't see a
getting cavities and stuff too is a big genetic thing as well. So there's a lot of genetics that go into your teeth health. And I mean, like the scariest thing they're doing right now is they recently just tested on a pig. A tooth regrowing serum.
I heard about this.
And it was
Why don't you look that up really quick, Maddie? It's like
it's gonna put me out of the job because
they're using like stem cells.
They're
right?
using stem cells, and they're basically implanting a gene, or they're changing the receptor that turns off your tooth regrowing.
Yeah,
because it's a receptor in your body. Mm-hmm. They're turning that off, so your teeth will naturally start to regrow.
Okay,
again.
scientists at Tufts University successfully grew human-like teeth in pigs by combining human and pig cells, seeding them onto a scaffold and transporting them into the pig's mouth. So we're playing God. Almost. Okay, so the resulting tooth-like tissues were observed after several go back up, please. After several months, this research aims to develop bioengineered teeth that could potentially offer a more natural and durable alternative to dental implants. Jeez, yeah, dude, you better look for it.
If they got something like that out there in the mass market, that would change dentistry forever.
No,
like big thing.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, you lost 4 teeth. Let's just inject a little stem cell in there.
And I'm like, well, if that happens, I'm definitely out of the job because there's no way. There's no need for me if they can just regrow.
Okay.
How do they size the tooth right, though? If you're just growing a tooth, how are you supposed to make it grow to?
I think it grows. I don't know too much about the article about how they did it, but I would imagine because there's obviously usually 2 teeth, or I don't know how it would work with like no teeth, like they were saying, but with 2 teeth
what's the
between
guiding point?
I would imagine it would just naturally grow between those 2 teeth.
Because if they're using a strange or random stem cell from a pig. That stem cell, stem cells, I don't know anything, but it's just like, I feel like it might not like, if you were to take a stem cell out of your jaw line, that might be more recognizable for a tooth size reference than a random pig's stem cell, if that makes sense. Like that, yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know how it works, but I saw the article and I was like, damn, I was like, there it goes for me. And it was like, right as we just switched to digital dentistry and doing everything ourselves like that. Like, I mean, as I was saying with that machine earlier, the M4, we're the only lab in Oregon because we got Zirconzon, which is the company who sells that M4 machine, which
looks bad to the bone. You guys should look that up.
Yeah, I mean, it was, we got them to make custom holders for our titanium. So most implant crowns, they're made with titanium. There's 2 parts to them. There's the crown, and then there's the titanium abutment, which is the part the crown sits on. And that titanium abutment is what screws into the implant, which is already embedded in the jaw.
God.
So they screw the implant in, and then they have the abutment, and then they have the crown. And we mill that most of the time. Most labs can't even mill that metal part. They buy prefabricated. I can't say that.
Prefabricated.
Yes. Basically pre-made ones. And we're the only company or only lab in Oregon that can mill them ourselves. So I design custom abutments, and then I use that M4 machine with the titanium burrs, and I buy these little tiny, basically like, they're not pucks, they're like cylinders that are titanium cylinders that have a certain hex or a certain company's implant, like their exact size basically. Mm-hmm. And I put that in our machine, and then it mills out a perfect custom abutment. And then I mill the crown on our other machine, and I could put those together, and then we have a fully made implant crown in-house.
That's so crazy because you think like how small how small a tooth actually is. So when you're breaking it down in pieces, such as what you're describing, is like that's very precise CNC work. Like it's
very precise. There's always a little bit of fitment work that I have to do between the inside of the crown, and that could just be dull burrs or. Like, if you don't put your we have these things called anti-rotation grooves that I put inside. Like I make it inside.
So it can't back out in your fucking mouth. Like.
Yeah. Or like when I put the crown on, that I know exactly which direction the crown goes on the abutment. I make this little groove in both the crown and the abutment that slide into each other, basically.
Okay.
And so that way I know exactly which direction it goes on, and then I just have to do fine adjustments from there until I get it all the way seated down to. It's called a margin, but it's not made by the dentist. It's made by the custom abutment.
Okay. How about this? Let's take a quick pee break. I have to pee really bad. I wrote this down, and we'll come right back, and we'll level off from here. Manny, go ahead and pause this, please. And we're back. All right. So we were talking about crown abutment. My one question about that, obviously putting these components together and everything, there's a lot that goes into that. What is there anything that sets the company that you work for or your practice than other practices? Or is it you guys kind of do the same thing?
No, I mean, as I said, we do custom abutments, which was something most other labs can't do because we got custom holders for this company called Des, and it's a worldwide company, and they work with it's basically like a company that works for a bunch of other companies to get all of their implants together into one website that you can order parts off of. Mm-hmm. And we got them to make custom holders for our machine, and that's how we're able to mill our own custom FDA approved abutments from Des, because we got their custom holder made, which they said they had. The only reason we were able to do that was because when he first bought into the lab business, he bought a big like a package deal kind of thing from Zirconzon, which was technically it was from this company called Strawman, which is like a reseller for Zirconzon parts.
Oh, okay.
And they way overcharged him for everything, and then come to find out that most of the stuff we bought was proprietary kind of stuff, so we couldn't work with any other companies. We couldn't do any other companies' kind of parts or anything, which was our biggest setback when we first started. And so that's when they offered him a deal. Oh yeah, we can mill you these or make you these custom holders for your custom abutments that you want to be able to mill. And so they ended up, I don't know how they make them. I mean, probably some fancy machine.
Yeah.
But they sent us those parts, and we have like 3 of them, one for each side, and we can mill up to 9 custom abutments at one time in the machine.
Yeah.
That's probably our biggest thing that we do. That and we're probably one of the first labs to do all digital dentures, or all digital kind of style now, because molding was so slow, and waiting for molds to dry and then pulling them out and cleaning them up way harder than 3D printing is compared to what I do now.
Well, that's like that's going to become a dying art, even though it's a pain in the ass, it's expensive. It's like compared to what we have now, it is, it makes sense to steer away from that style of manufacturing. But what's cool about it is the art that goes into that, shaping the mold. Yep. Using that complex
I know a guy.
math.
So one of the only other labs that are still left in Eugene, and it's not a full lab at all. It's just a denturist, so he only makes dentures. And it's this guy named Ken Troy, and he's been doing it for like 70 years. This dude's 80-something years old, still super healthy, still super active on himself. The dude has worked alone for the past 30, 40 years by himself with his own business, and all he does is make dentures, but he doesn't do it the way that I would do it, which is 3D printing and milling and all that. He makes them the old-fashioned way, where you make a mold, and then you wax it up, and then you put a bunch of like different kind of like smoother wax on it, and then you melt out that wax to keep all the components in place, and it hardens together. It's a whole process, and it takes probably 3 times as long. But I can tell you, he is the best denturist I have ever seen. Every single denture I've ever seen from him is perfect. And granted, he's been doing it for 70 years.
That's so funny, where it's like you guys are like, what kind of dentures you got? Like, that's fucking awesome.
Me and him will have conversations for hours. Just the differences between my world and his world, because he's been doing it for so long and I haven't been doing it for too long. And everything he says is like infinite knowledge to me.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
like, oh
if
yeah,
you've been
I want to
doing it-
learn that.
Yeah, if you've been doing it for 70 fucking years, that's crazy. Oh, hey! Alex Stelzer in the building, everybody. What's
Doesn't this
up,
guy live
buddy?
in Texas?
What's up, dog?
I haven't seen this guy
Here.
for years.
What's
I
up?
haven't seen him for years.
Surprise guest, surprise guest.
Surprise guest.
What's up, dude? Glad you made it safe. Say what's up to everybody.
What's up, chat?
What up? That's so funny. Yeah, we're gonna, we got like 10, 15 minutes. We'll wrap this up. Okay, so that's really interesting. Like just going, like hearing the old school side of it, and then the new, like that is awesome. Like someone who's been doing it for 70 fucking years. Like that's like
It's a big.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what's even more amazing about what you have done, and it blows me away, is like how you didn't go to college for this. You didn't take some online fucking class. Like maybe you probably took some classes eventually when you got into it, but it's like you got into this as someone like, if you're okay with me
At the
talking.
bottom.
Well, if you're okay with me talking about it, like you also worked in the hemp industry, such as myself,
Yeah.
for a while. You were a lab technician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using,
And we don't have to get into details in
No.
that, but it's like, you started there, and then all of a sudden, it's like you got out of that during COVID, and you started doing this dental shit, and I'm just like, what? Like that's an odd like pivot, But you were able to do it with no college degree. How, like, what made you decide, like, oh, like, was it just the opportunity, like the job opening was there? Like
it's opportunity and hard work. That's all you need is. Granted, like they say nowadays, the more you switch jobs, the higher pay you'll end up getting. But in my opinion, the less reparable you could be, or like the less reliant you could be to actually be there through the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to find something that I could just sit there and that I find interesting. Computer related, milling related. It's like I didn't want to just sit at a desk, but I also didn't want to break my back doing manual labor,
or breathing cancerous fumes and shit.
And doing all that kind of garbage. And
Yeah.
so, after I actually did asphalt. I was seal coating asphalt the summer before I got hired, and I saw the job pop up, and I was like, oh, well, I have 3 weeks of experience at Ryan. And I was like, sure, why not? And luckily, the interview with Ari was so weird because I came into the office, and he's the doctor.
Okay.
Dr. Binder. I came into the office. And,
Shout out.
And this guy is not a guy you would expect to be. He's not the normal old, just like really mean dentist. He is the exact opposite, I would say.
He's not like Willy Wonka's dad or whatever.
Yeah, no. He's the exact opposite. He's loose. He's fun. He knows how to have a good time. He doesn't take things too seriously. And
Are most dentists mean?
I
feel like that's a
the
classic-
stereotype.
I feel like that's a
why people are
classic,
afraid
like-
of the dentist. Is there
I'm
any-
afraid of the dentist because needles in my mouth.
Yeah,
Not because
I'm
the
afraid
people
of them
working on
ripping
my
shit out of my
mouth. Yeah.
face, breaking shit
But
out of my
it
face.
associates with mean people.
Yeah.
But
You're mean. You rip my teeth out.
Yeah, that's
No.
some fucking whack shit.
like there's still adults that will come in I can hear them screaming from the back, and I'm
Oh.
like, these people are screaming. They're so scared.
Your lab is in the dental office?
Well, it's the building connected to it.
Oh.
but I
you
can-
hear them screaming through the walls?
I can hear them screaming.
Oh my
Them walls
God.
be thick, dog, or thin, rather.
I can hear them screaming over the air compressor.
Wow.
And I'm like, damn, these people absolutely hate
What
the
are they
dentist.
having done?
Yeah,
How do I
wow.
avoid
But-
that?
No, he when I first came in, he asked me the most strange questions. He's like, oh, I see you have experience at O'Brien. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't do any lab work. I just worked there for 3 weeks on the computer, putting in cases. And he's like, well, why'd you leave? And I was like, COVID hit and everything got shut down. And then he's like, that makes sense, because his office also closed. And then from there, I just got hired as the lab tech with me and another guy named Devin. And we hired a third person, a girl. I can't remember her name, but she didn't last very long.
I remember you telling me about
Yeah, she was nice and everything, but she didn't really care about the work. Like, Ari was looking for someone who wanted to sit there and get good at it because he knew. I mean, none of us really had experience. He's like, oh yeah, he wants people to sit there over time and get better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool that he was giving you all that chance.
Yeah. And
not a lot of people would do that.
No. Most people would look for experience.
That is pretty bold. Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for. And I was like, okay. And then we had a lab manager, Alyssa, and she was actually related to Ari, which is why she was hired there first. But about a year into my job, Devin ended up leaving because he wanted to go back to dental school and become a dentist. And I was like, good for him. I was like, I respect that. He wants to leave. And then not even a week later, after he quit on good terms and everything, Alyssa got fired. Ari fired his own relative because she was starting to steal money.
Whoa.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah, she was embezzling or using the company credit card for things that were not company related.
Don't do that.
And I'm like, wow.
Well, there's one thing, like, and I don't know, just for the record or whatever, is like dentistry makes a lot of fucking money.
There's a lot of money.
A lot of
it's
money.
crazy. I can tell you the cost to charge is like, what's it called? Like the cost of my materials versus the cost we charge. There's a huge gap there.
Huge gap.
And I guess there's a reason, like learning and everything is the
That's
reason.
why you still see like private dental practices still, is because of the way it's formed. Like you can still have a viable business like out of it. You know, especially if you're a gangster like the guy you work for or that old man. Like, dog, that's a big time money maker.
It's a huge money maker if you go it on your own.
Yeah.
But, God, what was that?
That's crazy shit.
Do they upcharge it so much because of the time necessary, or like what do you think is actually behind that?
That's a good
Well,
question.
I mean, if you're doing, I guess we do a charge for rush cases. So if someone's leaving, which a lot of time people, they have a vacation or whatever, they want to get it done real fast. I understand, so I'll push their case. Like every case is like in a queue basically.
Yeah.
So every day I'll get a few more cases and I'll add those to the queue of cases that I have coming up next. And unless people need a rush case or whatever, we'll charge them more for that. Or unless it's like a big case, like implant, like a full arch implant denture with a bunch of screws and a full zirconia puck, or like one arch requires a full puck to make one arch.
What is an arch? I still don't understand.
An arch is your upper arch and your lower arch. So your upper teeth and your lower teeth.
Okay, gotcha.
And so an
like
arch,
the whole,
your whole jaw
yeah,
piece,
the whole
like-
jaw piece, the whole jaw piece.
That makes it a lot more
All
clear.
your teeth, yeah. Sorry.
You keep throwing the term, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, like when I hear arch,
Upper
like,
jaw,
okay, like
upper
there is an
jaw,
arch.
lower jaw,
Okay.
upper jaw, lower jaw.
Okay.
I mean, those things cost way more to fully redo and way more time to redo that.
Do you think they charge so much extra because you're not necessarily, like, probably 95% of the time you're not dealing directly with the person? It's more so through their insurance, and that's why they can spike the prices so high.
Right on the needle.
Yeah,
Right on the needle.
yeah. But I mean, that makes sense. You know, it's like if you're dealing with insurance, dude, fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we don't overcharge anyone of what another dentist would charge someone else. It's just the prices are way higher
It is.
than, and I get it, for especially on the dental side, like the dental office side. Learning how to do all that dental work, yeah, that's going to be a long time and very expensive to be able to do that.
Yeah, you do a specialized job.
Yeah,
I
And
get
so
that.
it makes sense why it costs a lot. But jobs like mine is sometimes I'm like, dang, I was like, they charge, like other labs will charge way more for stuff that I would even say is on par with my kind of stuff, which is
costs
average.
Like, so before I had health insurance, I had my wisdom teeth looked into getting taken out because they were bothering me. It costs $3,000 for 2 teeth to be pulled, right? That's like with the numbing stuff, maybe the gas, whatever they. I don't think
They
the
just
gas
put
was
you
included.
no, they just put you to sleep.
It was $400 just to simply pull the tooth, plus everything else on top of it made it $3,000 for 2 teeth. $400 just to pull the fucking thing.
dude.
See, I don't know those
So-
costs. I never had to deal with that.
Well, it's like, to put it into perspective, like if you're trying to create a new tooth and implant it, or just have it set on some kind of thing, right, where it just sits there, or you just have like a raw denture that just sits raw in your gums, like it's it's probably gonna be like $5,000 just for that. Because I
Yep.
mean, $400 a tooth.
Well, you want me
Or
to tell
more
you
so
you
than
want
that.
you want me to tell you how much a good set of upper zircon, like the most expensive thing basically, or the highest end thing that I make is like the full arch upper, full arch lower that are both implants, and they're both fully zirconia. Because we don't even go to zirconia first. We do a PMMA plastic try-in first. They'll wear that for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, see how they like the teeth, see what changes they want, and then we'll go to zirconia final.
God, it's so bizarre.
Do you know how much
dude,
my
like,
boss told me he charged the insurance company? Over $50,000 sometimes for one arch.
for one single?
For one arch, $50,000.
Holy shit.
And I was like,
That's crazy.
I could tell you it doesn't cost that much to make it.
Wow.
I think that goes a lot with a lot of places, though. Like, I mean, I'm sure like a bag of Doritos doesn't cost less than more than
Exactly.
$1
Oh,
to
it costs them
create.
cents.
It's for
dude.
the knowledge, yeah.
Yeah.
It's for the
And then they
knowledge,
sell
it's
it for $6,
yeah.
you know? So it's like 150% profit margin on that. But, you know, everything is spiked because, I don't know, people are greedy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you know, there is overhead costs. That is a real thing.
things would be
but like,
significantly lower if insurance just did not exist.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so
You might think things would be higher, but everything would be base lower.
So
Yeah.
just pivoting, you know, from this, what in your opinion, like, you know, I'm just trying, not doing a 360, but like just, you know,
Then do a 180.
we'll do like a 180. Yeah, we'll do a 180.
Okay.
What do you think, like, and, you know, and this is not like, obviously you are not a practicing like dentist, you're a different thing, but I feel like what you do is expose you enough to know the do's and don'ts. Like, what do you think about like flossing, brushing, the basic
God.
shit?
He's not
Like,
a dentist, though.
I'm just
They don't
no-
even ask dentists. I'm telling you, most dentists, they'll tell you the same thing. Is they'll tell you you're not gonna floss, you're not flossing enough, even though you're fine, or like it really depends on how bad. Like if you go in for a tooth cleaning, and they say, "Oh, I had to remove a lot of tartar or whatever," yeah, you should probably floss more and brush more. If they say there's a lot of tartar, or if you hear while they're cleaning your teeth a lot of picking, then you know there's a lot of stuff on your teeth that they're picking off, right?
It's like diet based,
It's like-
really, right? Like,
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like what you eat is going to dictate probably how healthy your teeth are and how much. I mean, brushing matters, but if you're not eating a ton of sugar, then brushing once a day is fine.
So if I eat a 7-Eleven hot dog every day, how healthy are my teeth going to be?
I don't know.
I think what it
And
is,
it's all genetic too. It's
I think it's the sugar. I think the sugar
It's
is the
sugar-
problem.
it's
the
sugar
sugar
made,
is
yeah.
100%
Yeah.
the problem.
because
You
the
know.
first thing they'll ask you is, "Oh, how much sugar do you have?" And I did eat a lot of sugar when I was a kid. Like I
If
recently
you're
just had
drinking
my
3
teeth cleaned.
Cokes a day, your teeth are going to be done
Way
by the
worse,
time you're 30 years
Way
old.
worse.
100%. And so it's like,
What about beer?
There's no-
well,
I think it's carbs, but I don't think a lot
you
of
know
sugar
what
in it,
actually
right?
has a detrimental
know.
effect on teeth is coffee.
Coffee's
Coffee's
a big one.
really a
Coffee's
bad
a big
one.
one.
Coffee's a bad
I mean,
one,
it
dude.
stains your teeth,
But
it
it's
also,
acidic.
It
It's like
also
a-
eats into your teeth.
It's
yeah.
acidic as fuck.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's one unspoken thing that people talk about. It's like coffee damages your teeth.
What? So if I have like a 20-ounce cup, like a, you know, like a little mug,
Done for.
what does that? Is
Well,
that bad?
I mean,
Dentures by 30.
unless like you brush, if you
I'm
brush,
almost 30.
if you brush your teeth every day, you're fine.
You're
It's just
fine,
like
yeah.
say like
You just gotta take
if you
extra
drink coffee
care.
every day and
Like-
you don't brush your teeth every day, then it's like
You guys brush your teeth?
no, I take a
I brush
pressure
my
wash.
teeth. I swear, I brush my
Pressure
teeth.
wash.
Yeah, but okay, so all right, if you were say like, how would
Jack
somebody
flosses with his butthole hair.
the ass hair?
Sorry.
Tooth care is not my specialty.
No, I'm not
I-
asking. I'm not asking about tooth care. It's
I,
just
I-
like
I only make it after it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm the reason there's a new tooth there. Like I've actually even made my own boss's new teeth. So
no shit.
I mean, and
A dentist that doesn't have perfect teeth?
I tell it's genetics. His teeth were pretty bad. I mean, just like my dad, I made my own dad's new teeth. I was like, I've made.
That's cool.
Yeah, I made a few people.
That's like actually really cool. You made your dad's teeth.
That is pretty fucking
Yeah,
badass.
Yeah.
his front 6 teeth. Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, what I was gonna ask is, it's like if you're old or whatever the case may be, if you're in the need of like dentures, like even if they don't go to you, like what's something that maybe you could look out for, like for someone that's either good or bad at this, like if that makes sense, like so like
I
a bad
do what I
like
do? Oh,
yeah,
I mean,
like-
yeah.
If they're using old tech or if they're doing...
It's a lot. I mean, in my case, it's different than most other people because there is a schooling for this for 2 years, and it would give you all of the basic information that I know now. But I had to learn it through trial and error and tech support. But luckily, they're Americans, so
That's nice.
Yeah.
it made it easier. Like, oh my God, I was on the phone the other day, and it pissed me off so much because I click English. And it's some fucking Indian lady.
English, motherfucker.
No, it's some Indian lady. I could barely, this is some important stuff that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to install some new software on the scanners so they could, so they could send cases to my computer because they're closing down our old software and doing a new one. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to install the new one, but I couldn't figure it out. And so I called tech support, and the Indian lady on the phone, she's trying to talk to me, and I don't understand a goddamn thing she's saying. And I'm like, are you trying? She's like, yeah, open Windows. And I was like, okay, I'm on the computer. And she's like, okay, click the start button. And I'm like, okay, could you just tell me, get along with this? And I was like, they pay these people to do this, but I can't even figure out what I need. Like, I can't even get my problem fixed because I don't understand them.
It's such a classic.
I hate that.
I hate it.
No, and
I had to schedule.
And the connection's always shit.
I had to, I literally.
Hello, this is from India. Do you open Windows 10, please?
like,
Oh my God.
It's more like they're super far away.
it's so
They're
bad.
super far away. I was
And
like,
then the accent kicks in, and you're like, huh?
I hate
Do
it.
the what?
But I mean, yeah, that's a
This
little-
is not racist.
No, it's
No,
just
dude, that's like a common
This is
thing.
the common
Nobody
one.
likes to call tech support.
It's a
because of
common
that.
problem.
Everyone agrees.
Yeah.
We all mutually
I was
agree
like
on
that.
this.
I was like, I hate that. And when tech support doesn't have a phone number to call, that you have to send them an email to be able to get tech support. I hate that. Like, they'll just leave an email or like a submission box on their website. And I'm like, no. I was like, just let me call someone about my problem right now. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't want to wait to deal with it. I'll wait on hold if I have to, but fucking waiting for a goddamn 3 days for an email.
Yeah, when you need it done now.
Yeah, is not what I need.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How come you still have not gone to school? Because you don't think it's necessary? Or if you were to, like, leave that lab, would that experience be enough for you to be successful somewhere else? Or would you have to have that certification?
Yeah, I believe I'm in a place where I could. I'm at the limit. I've said this before. I'm at the limit of where I think I know, like, I can learn everything myself. So I'm at a good spot. Like, yeah, I'm still learning new things about my software and all that. Mm-hmm. But I'm at the limit of what I can basically do on my own.
You're caught up.
And so, yeah, if there was an opportunity or something like that, yeah, I mean, I would probably get that opportunity. Or it's all about connections, basically. I've started to make a lot of connections. A few years ago, probably one of the greatest things I've done in dentistry so far is when I did a teaching class back in 2022 they wanted to use our lab for this class that these other dentists were taking to be able to learn some of the lab stuff and some to get their own in-lab businesses going, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to teach like 3 or 4 dentists who have had years of experience dentistry. Like, some of these guys were old. Some of these guys, I mean, there was a really nice woman that was there too. But I tutored them for like a solid 4 or 5 months probably on everything that I was doing with my ExoCAD and designing, milling. They basically had to turn in assignments of different things that they have done and different procedures. And
You mentored that?
yeah, I mean, they were wanting me to teach these people. And I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it. These people were nice. They gave me so much knowledge about the dental side of things and what customers are like and all that. I even did get bribed a couple times.
What?
And which way? How?
So this one guy,
You come over to my lab. I'll give you
You give me some of your trade
he was
secrets.
from Ukraine. He's from Ukraine, and
I'm just kidding.
no, I just remember the accent.
I'm from Ukraine.
He's a real nice guy, but like, he didn't want to do his work himself, and you could tell he was like kind of a high horse kind of guy who's made a lot of money. And so the first thing he does, he's like, he has an assignment due the next day or whatever, and he tells me, he's like, could you just do this real fast and turn it in, and I'll give you some money for it.
No way.
Well, like he already had like halfway done it, so I was like, okay, I'll just whatever finish it up and take the pictures for him and send them to him, right? And he gave me $200. And then he's like, we could keep this going, and you could do a bit more, and I could pay you a bit more. And then I was like, this is unethical.
I see what you're doing.
I see what's going on. And so I told the boss, or I told his name, Dr. Sammy. He was a dentist in Eugene who ran the class.
Dr. Sammy.
And
Sammy Sosa.
He doesn't practice anymore. Yeah, he's non-existent. But I basically told him, I was like, okay, this guy's, I guess, bribing me to do some of the work for him. And he's like, yeah. He's like, just make sure he gets the work done himself. And I was like, okay, good. So after that, they talked to him, and apparently that since then he actually came into the lab and started doing work with me.
No shit.
And I was like, good.
Damn.
Because he came like once or twice, and then he never showed up again for like a month or two. And I was like, well, I mean, he's got a lot of assignments due because all these other people in the class, they're here every single week with me doing the assignments, but he's not.
Damn. Fuck, dude.
But, I mean, that was teaching
Good
them.
on you for having ethics.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
And integrity.
Integrity, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Sweet
imagine
cash.
something like that existing within that.
Did you keep that $200?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I kept the original one, but then I felt bad.
And then I felt bad. Well, I didn't realize he was bribing me. He kept saying it was like, oh, I just want to pay you because, I mean.
My friend.
He's helping me. Yeah, like the other guys, they'd bring me food and stuff. They would help me out with whatever I needed. And I was like, I mean, these guys are nice people. I was like, I appreciate it because I was so in my opinion, I thought I was so underqualified to teach these dentists how to do my work because I'm like, they know so much more than me. And I was like, they've been doing it for years, but not the lab side, but they were fascinated by everything that I was doing.
No shit.
Yeah, I can see how that would like feel weird.
Yeah.
But
Damn, man.
yeah.
Well, you have really rose to the top, I feel like, as much of, like, it's just something I never would have thought of. Like, obviously, a role is always need to be filled somewhere, but this is just one thing, like, I know we don't hang out all the time. We don't talk. Like, we talk. We have, like, meme conversations,
I try our best. I mean...
But,
again,
like, it's just really cool, like, seeing the moves you make and where you've gotten from working at the CO2 lab to doing what you do now. And, it's awesome. And I think what you do is necessary, especially now with dental health is on a decline always, and this shit needs to be done by someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. So it's like, if someone wants to get into this for, like, what doesn't click in my head is like, who wants to do this? You know what I mean? But a lot of people do. So like,
again, it's not what you would think of. If you're wanting to go into dentistry, you want to be either a dental assistant or a dentist usually, which dental assist or a hygienist, the dental hygienist, because especially a hygienist. I think 90% of people probably go for hygiene because you could make a lot of money just doing hygiene. Mm-hmm. And then dentists, obviously, quite a few of those. And then assistants. You actually don't even need to go to school to be a dental assistant, technically. But if you get hired from by a dentist and you do really good work, they can just recommend you for the degree. Mm-hmm. And you can just get the degree.
Yeah.
What?
And
What?
as long as you have CE credits as well.
What the hell is that?
A CE credit is basically...
Is that like cooperative work experience or something?
Yeah. It's like... Not really college credit or anything like that, but it's basically extra credits on your academic record to show that you've been going to classes or you know this thing. Like I've gotten quite a few CE credits just doing random like seminars or whatever. Like I'll go to one or whatever, or a lab day west that they do every year down in Anaheim. They'll do a bunch of classes that have, or they're not classes. I think they're mostly advertisements, in my opinion. They're just trying to advertise their new products, which is cool. Because lab day for me is like the only place where everyone around me knows what my job is and what I was talking about 90% of the time. Because my biggest problem is in Eugene, I have almost no one to talk to. Mm-hmm. Like even Ken, as I said, the old guy, like, yeah, he's nice to talk to, but he has no clue what I'm doing half the time.
He's not on like the same level.
Yeah, and so it's like, especially when if I have a problem or I need help or I can't figure something out, it's real hard for me to get that resource. I have some really good connections that will help me through like Exocad if I need help with that, or if a machine breaks down or whatever.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just myself trying to figure out how to make this work for myself.
Well, you're a bad motherfucker, man. Like, I really admire your work ethic and how far you've gone. Like, it's really cool to see what you've done. And I feel like, this can go for anyone. And if you go after the biscuit, you'll get it. If that makes sense. And so it's like you just got to have determination and, going from, like I said before, from not even thinking about this to going as deep as you have is really
That's when you start working at 15 at McDonald's.
Yeah. You got great work determination, man. So how do you, if your practice is okay, what's the name of the practice, where and when? Like
360 Dental is the office, which Dr. Binder, he owns 360 Dental and then 360 Dental Lab, which is where I work. And they're basically the same building on West 11th in Eugene.
Okay.
They're right near the Taco Time. Or you know where that trampoline park is? You've been there before. I think for your birthday a few years ago.
Long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's right near there.
I can't remember if that was Salem or Eugene, though. I was
Oh.
a little buzzed.
It's on West 11th. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tag the website, the practice in the description or whatever.
Shout out to trampoline parks.
Yeah, shout out to trampoline parks for sure. Yeah, if it wasn't for them, people wouldn't need replaced implants, But I'll do you want to like tag your Instagram or anything, or you?
I'm not a social media guy.
You're not a social media. Yeah, okay, for sure. Well, you know what? I'll share this. I'll tag you anyway.
Yeah, you can tag me in my Instagram or whatever, Facebook.
All right. Well,
wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is being posted on YouTube. Oh, I want to shout out my YouTube channel.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
All fired up. Yeah, all fired
all
up.
Fired up.
All fired up 337. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I'll tag your YouTube and I'll make sure to give you in the description or whatever. But thank you for taking the time to do this. We've been wanting to do this for a while.
It's been coming.
Yeah, but I feel like was really good. So again, thank you for taking the time to do this. We had fun playing frisbee golf. We're gonna have fun tonight. We're gonna cook out some steaks here in a bit. So, we're going to have a good time. So, thank you guys for tuning into the show. This is that Hella Dank podcast. Check us out on Instagram, like and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.